Good afternoon. Welcome to the St. Martin Parish Council Joint Committee meeting of Tuesday, March 17, 2026 at 4:30 in the Carol J. Fugely Meeting Room of the St. Martin Parish Government Annex Building. Please silence all cell phones and remove all hats. The public may comment upon any item which requires a vote by the St. Martin Parish Council. We ask that you fill a request to speak form located in the back of the room. Once completed, you are to bring it to me or to the sheriff deputy who will give it to me. Mr. Mellison and Mr. Alexander excused. I'd like to call the meeting to order with a prayer led by Council Clerk Ms. Brooke Thibodeau.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Clay, would you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1, Support Services Division Commander Terry Guidry and Support Services Executive Director Dana Alcati, St. Martin Parish Sheriff's Office, to give a presentation on the STAR Substance Abuse Team for Addiction and Recovery Program.
Mr. Gadry?
Good afternoon. Thank y'all for your time. First of all, about a year and a half ago, the sheriff tasked us with coming up with some program that would address the opioid crisis in St. Martin Parish. Not only the opioid crisis, the mental health crisis in St. Martin Parish. I'd like to introduce our team, what we've put together in a year and a half. This is Executive Director Dana Alcati, Carolyn Billiard, William Green, Corporal William Green, and Juanisha Perkins. This is our team, and when I say our team, I don't just mean the Sheriff's Office team. This is St. Martin Parish's team. There's 4 people that are dealing with 56,000 people. Thus far, I'm so proud of the progress we've made. We've made some real strides, and we're making headway. The numbers show that, and we're here to just present that to you, and there's bigger things coming in the future for the STAR program, and it's really taken off. And again, I'm proud of what we've done so far. Dana's going to do a presentation, and then we'll open it up for questions. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thank you for allowing us again to be here. We couldn't have done this without y'all. We couldn't have done this without the support of St. Martin Parish and the community. So that being said, we did a small presentation. We couldn't put all the information because if I want to talk, you won't. You'll kick me out. I won't stop. So please feel free to stop me at any time. So this is just an outcome of what we've been doing. The program has not even been out a year, up and running. So let's see if I can figure this out. Okay. So transforming lives, restoring hope, and usually I put things to read. I read nothing from what I put, but this is what we do. We served almost 2,000 individuals from the St. Martin Parish, that including, we say individuals and families served through compassion care and proven recovery pathway. We care. We do it with all our hearts. We're 24/7. It's not only impacting the individuals themselves, it's impacting everyone around them, their families, their parents, their partners, kids. So we care about each and every one, and we do extend the help to each one in the family. And outside the family, that goes to their work partners as well. Our mission, you guys are familiar with our mission, empowering individuals and families affected by substance abuse and mental health challenges through comprehensive evidence-based support. And we talked with Ms. Carla. Her support is amazing, been amazing. I consult with her about a lot of things, and her advice has been unbelievable. Also, a lot of other individuals on this council, that supports this program and give us a lot of advice, and we take that and we run with it. We appreciate that. Meeting people where they are and walking with them towards lasting recovery. We don't just serve a paper and recommend people to treatment. We become part of their life and they become part of ours. Again, we walk the walk and we talk the talk with them. We make sure that it's not only the treatment, it's what comes after the treatment. And we've been doing that, and we're gonna keep doing that because it's working. And that's what we want. Who we serve, available to our St. Martin Parish resident at no cost. Other parishes are coming and contacting us and they want help. They want us to train them, but we want to make sure that we're building the right foundations. And that's what we're doing. And then we will be, once we feel that we're ready to go out and train others, we're gonna go ahead and do that. But at this point, we want to make sure that our parish is strong enough, and those who we are serving are going to help us implement this program as well outside the parish. Juveniles, and we mentioned that more than once because juveniles are a problem and we're not capable to help in all the problems that we're seeing, especially at schools. So our main priority is to find the right facilities, the right counselor, the right atmosphere, helping juveniles, whether it's at school, at home. We're even looking at a place. We had a chat with them yesterday. They can start serving children and kids 2 years old. Veterans seeking recovery support even before they seek recovery. We're reaching out. Survivors of domestic violence, elderly residents facing substance abuse or mental health challenges. You guys cannot believe the amount of people that are reaching out, and we're seeing whether they're at school, whether they are in their homes, whether they come and walk to the office through 911 calls. It's unbelievable. Core services transforming lives from the inside out, starting the healing journey while incarcerated. The program that we are running through our jails, the reentry program, is not only about the 12 steps. We want them to be able to heal while they're still inside. So when they're ready to go outside, they're capable of making a difference. They will contribute to this community, and they will be on the right track. They will stay in treatment, and they will be able to make a difference. Those who we are not capable to take them out of jail because of the crimes they committed, we try to get them help within the jail. So we make sure they are aware of what they did, and they make a difference and they make a change before they even go out or face other charges. So that's what we're doing, continuum of treatment and support, successful community reintegration, positive contribution to our community. 24/7 crisis response team, we collaborate with others that, as well as our teams, but we have 24/7 crisis team, and we have one for kids as well that goes to the scene. If any families are having crisis with their kids, we are there and we take the team with us and we try to resolve the problem where it is. Peer support teams for all ages, that as well. Intensive case management, family support program. From darkness to hope, healing begins while incarcerated. That's what I was talking about. Again, I mixed things together, but one thing leads to the other. Clinical treatment coordination inside the jail, 12-step recovery group with community partners, continuum of care, incarceration to community, successful reintegration, and lasting recovery. That's what we're aiming for. Addressing the whole person, not just the addiction. Addiction is not the problem. What causes the addiction is the problem. And even if we cure that, are we curing and dealing with how those individuals are being labeled? Okay, what's next? That's the question we're being asked. What's next? Am I going to have a job to be able to get my family back? What about the housing? We are working on all that. We want to target this from all angles. get your healing right, stay in recovery, and we're going to help with what comes next. We want you to have hope. We want you to get your family back. We want you, to build your self-esteem, and we're with you all the way. So we are venturing and making sure that we get everything together for those individuals, not just the recovery. Employment support and job placement, transportation coordination, with still tricky, but we're trying to work with that with the limited resources we are having. Strategic partnerships, all honorable judges, Region 4 and other regions, are reaching to us and they're asking us to do placement and help them with the program. District Attorney's Office, Attorney General Office, Probation and Parole, from all across. We are getting calls and we are being asked to help them with the treatment for all individuals in the system. Strategic partners, health and service, hospitals and healthcare system, licensed treatment and rehabilitation centers, mental and behavioral health providers, Department of Children and Family Services, again, usually mental health and addiction, they co-occur together. Till now, I did not find probably 90% of them, they co-occur. Do we have mental health by itself and behavioral health issues? We do, but mostly they co-occur together. Schools and school board, we had several meetings. We had another great meeting with the school board, and they want us to be in partnership with them because we're seeing a lot of problems within the ages from 8 till probably 18, and they start 12, 15, and it goes on and on. The vaping and those vapes are laced, and not only vaping, harassment in schools, trying to just fit in, and the problems that comes from the families. So they don't only want our help with the kids, they want our help to be able to understand how can we deal with the families of those children and what kind of resources we can provide for them. Faith-based organization and churches, business community and employers, nonprofit and civic organizations. Training and professional development, building capacity and expertise across our community, crisis intervention training for our law enforcement, trauma-informed care education, community partner training sessions. So the training is internal and external to our law enforcement and externally to anyone who needs it, community and families, schools, mention it, we will make it happen. Again, building awareness, reducing stigma, fostering hope, community education outreach event, prevention and awareness campaigns, public speaking and advocacy, recovery celebration and support. We also, once we have enough individual, we're gonna have an alumni program for them to honor them, and there's gonna be a day for those graduates to celebrate their achievement. Earning national recognition, CARF accreditation, I discussed that with Ms. Carla as well. We want this program to be accredited as an intensive case management program. We are still in the beginning, first phase of this. We are gathering all what it gets for a program to be CARF accredited. It takes a lot, but we want to make sure that once we're ready, and that probably would be a year from now, we have everything together because it's not an easy process. Person-centered service delivery standards, quality benchmark and best practices, enhance outcomes and accountability. We hold ourselves accountable, we hold others accountable, we hold each and every provider accountable. It takes each and everybody to make this happen. It's not only us. It's all of us coming together to achieve the outcomes and to make the STAR program a successful program. through our partnership with St. Martin Parish Government, the vision became reality, and that's very true. Through your support and, all the encouragement and all the advice and y'all being with us since this started till now, we were able to achieve what we achieved. And hopefully this will grow only bigger and better, and we're gonna achieve more outcomes, and we're gonna see more results moving forward. Questions? I tried to make it as short as I can, even though I want to talk more, but,
Any questions from the council? Ms. Jean-Baptiste?
It's not a question. I just want to commend you. I know I called you last week because a parent had called me about her son being incarcerated and wanting to get help. And she just called to thank me for linking her up with you, because through that conversation, she really felt emotionally supported, because she's been dealing with her son with his addiction probably for the last maybe 10 years or so. And just having somebody outside of myself that understands her and is guiding her. So I do want to share, she called me to thank me for linking her up with you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Mr. Delcom?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, it hit home a couple of weeks ago on a Saturday evening. I get a phone call from an individual I had gone to high school with, and her grandson had, he was bad. It was a matter of possible suicide, and it was all drug related. And I was able to tell her, hey, look, there's a number to the sheriff's department. They do have a program, that will help him. First of all, we'll get over this evening, and I'm sure they'll pick it up from there. I have not followed up on it, but when she started explaining what was going on, and I said, well, this hits home. I have an individual that is a crisis situation. Mm-hmm. We have the sheriff's department that can follow up initially, and then the program that has been put into place. So I found it very very pleasing that it's working, and it's working in something that hit home for me on a personal level. So
if you'd allow me, I'd like Caroline to share some updates about that case without mentioning names. Caroline, could you share some updates, please?
She did call me. I know you're talking about.
Would you come to the podium?
Well, I hadn't expected this, but yes, it did happen, and this is real time, and this is actually something that you have and we've assisted in, and it's actually there's a good to it. There's
She did reach out. I did speak to her. I know her.
No names.
And I did speak to her, and we spoke about it, and she explained everything to me, and we did go do a welfare check on him. He is okay. We reached out to the parents to do a follow-up, and we mentioned the services, and she said she will be in contact with us to get him further help.
The numbers that you put up initially, now it's in the thousands of people that you have helped and so forth. It's just been a year, so I'm really very pleased and anticipating a lot more in the future, because it is an issue that's not going away. And I'm very pleased that we're able to help in this parish, and we're seeing that the money's being left in this parish for the communities and the help that these individuals need. So thank you all very much.
Moreover, that we are giving them options, the same individuals, we're giving them options. It's taken some time to convince the individuals with this, the same individual you talked about, but we have everything ready for them, from the facility to the personalized treatment, but we want to give them time so they feel that they made the choice and we didn't force them to do so. So, and that's another thing, that each and every individual we care about. We care about their families. We care how can we personalize the treatment so we could keep up with them. And we don't take no for an answer. Even those who we place them, when they go to the hospital, we follow up, and they refuse the treatment. We follow up with them till we can get them on the right track. So for me, at least in my team and everyone who's helping, and I say my team, all the sheriff's office and everyone is helping, and y'all and every individual that can refer someone to us, we don't take no for an answer, right? As long as we can help. One step at a time, but we're seeing the impact and we won't stop. Any questions?
So I don't have a question, I have a comment. So when this all came about with the opioid money, we had other agencies that reached out to us and, you know, they wanted, so for the funding of this, the sheriff gets a portion of funding and we get a much larger portion of funding. So when we first initiated putting this together, we didn't have a program. It was just a conversation. But we wanted, the one thing we knew when we talked to the sheriff and the council and everything, we wanted the money to stay here in St. Martin Parish. We didn't want to pool our money with other parishes to where they would have had a bigger need than ours, maybe our money would have went somewhere else. So we started this, and the sheriff made a commitment. He said, listen, he said, let me see what we can come up with, but I'd love to put a program together. I have some great ideas. Now, just for the record, the STAR program was originally created by Ms. Jean-Baptiste in another program years ago, but that's a different story. So we kind of took a STAR and we used it, but this time I think it's grown to be a lot bigger and better than what we thought it could have been. So when the sheriff committed to doing something, putting it together, we were hoping this is what we were gonna see and the results were gonna be what we see here. I can give you 10 stories from 10 different people that I referred to this program to, and all of them have been a success because a lot of people think it's just the victim, but the victim isn't just the victim, it's the whole entire family and everyone around them. And I can say personally, I had a couple of good friends of mine that you helped. You didn't just help the victim, you helped the whole family. And those people are very appreciative. And at the beginning of this thing, when we started, we said if we help one person, we made one difference. That's what it was all about. And we were able to help a lot more people. And it looks like the funding's gonna be here for a while. There might be some additional funding come in. So we might be able to grow this program and get bigger and bigger. And it could be a pilot program for the whole state to get on it at some point in time.
Right.
So I want to, you, your team, Terry, everybody. I mean, what y'all have been able to do
What
with this.
about y'all? We couldn't have done it without y'all.
No, and it was a joint effort between the parish and the sheriff's office. But listen, we do so many joint programs between us and the sheriff's office that, people don't know about. We were always working with y'all, working with our district attorneys, working with our judicial system to try to make this parish a safer and better parish. But what y'all were able to take this with an idea and turn it into what y'all have done, I want to commend y'all. I think it's been a great effort, and I can't wait till next year when you come give your presentation so we can see how much more the numbers are going to grow by then. Because if we did it in this first year, the second year ought to be even better.
Well,
So,
thank you.
Thank y'all.
Just a couple of things I want to point out that I was amazed at. She went kind of across the board with the numbers. We were dealing with 2-year-old. We recognized early on that you have to change behavior. I know this program started for people that are opioid abuse, but a lot of this is in the home. You have to change the behavior. You have to change the societal norms that they're used to. It's incredible to see that the nexus that each one of these things have. You wouldn't think that opioid abuse started way over here and it ended up to that person that needs help. And the second thing is the jail. She spoke a lot about the jail. But the first time we did it, we graduated 11 in that program. This time we have 34 that signed up and committed to the program to finish it. That's a whole dorm that we have in one dorm. And we've got them to sign and commit to completing the program. We're not only following them through the jail, we're following them when they get out of the jail. We've had one individual that was in the jail, which is kind of like heartwarming. He went into the system. He got out before he completed the program. He got out, he relapsed. He went back to the facility and said, hey, I relapsed. I was doing good in jail, and he got back in the program. That's a success story. Those are the people that are going to stay out of jail, and that's what we're trying to do on the jail side. So thank y'all very much for your help.
Thank y'all.
Nicole Angel, Early Childhood Supervisor of the St. Martin Parish School District, to discuss updates in early childhood services.
Thank you all. So I am here kind of just giving an update on what is going on in early childhood and trying to bring knowledge to different areas and programs that you may not be aware that we have actually in our parish related to early childhood. And so the first thing is we are a Ready Start Network. And so a Ready Start Network is all about getting children ready for kindergarten readiness. And so we're a coalition of businesses, public school system, and we're really building into getting the community and those that are wanting to see early childhood succeed on board with our coalition. Like every program that has, you have a vision and you have a mission. So our vision is really community access for all families. We have a lot of families who are not even aware of what programs might be available in regards to childcare. And so we want child care assistance program to be made well known around the parish for families that may qualify for that. We want them to be aware of our Head Start programs that are also, and then our public pre-K programs that are in our current school systems. Our mission is to make sure that families understand, how am I eligible and what do I need to do to understand the process? We have a variety of families who some come in and understand right away how to go through the system and apply for childcare. And then we have others who come who are not English speaking. And so we have to get interpreters to come in to help them to understand some of those programs. So that's our vision and our mission. Given a little bit of understanding of who is part of this Ready Start Network, it's publicly funded programs. And so we do have 5 school systems. We have Brobridge Primary that currently has 6 pre-K classes. We have Cecilia Primary who currently has 8 pre-K classes. Our Early STEAM Academy in St. Martinville has 6 pre-K classes. Parks Primary has 2 pre-K classes, and Stevensville does have 1 pre-K class. We have 2 family home care providers that accept child care assistance as payment for their services, and those 2 are located. One is Ms. Sharika in Brobridge, and one is Mr. Marie in the Cecilia area. And then we have what's called Type 3 child care centers. These child care centers accept the child care assistance funding as well as tuition. So parents can pay if they don't qualify for the child care assistance, but child care assistance is also available. And in Brobridge, we have 2 child care centers, Boyes Preschool and Child Care, and Little Blessings in Brobridge. In St. Martinville, we have 2, Owens Developmental Learning Center and St. Martin Sunshine Play School. And then we currently have our Head Start centers, which are also included in our program partners. And right now we have Cecilia Head Start, which is open, St. Martinville Early Head Start, St. Martinville Head Start. Those are our program partners. Our focus is really about awareness. So here I am coming to various meetings and events to get the word out on what is happening in early childhood. We're always pushing for increased funding, and we are really excited to see that the state of Louisiana really believes in early childhood. They've continued to allow parishes to have funds for child care assistance. They've increased the number of availability for those funds, and then they continue to fund our pre-K program, like our LA4 programs. And so then we also need that collaboration. Early childhood is bigger than only the early childhood teachers and Head Start centers and child care centers. Everybody in this room is affected by our early childhood program. And so we'll get to that a little bit later on. What does that mean if kids are in high quality when they are 2 or 3 or 4? It's kind of interesting, the presentation that just went before me. Early childhood is also a huge key in not building a gap for a student when they enter kindergarten, so they stay on the right path and they don't need the STAR program, because that's what we want, is for them not to need it because they didn't encounter academic gaps that put them down the wrong path. So our progress that we've made so far, in 2018, the state really pushed saying, we have school performance scores. We have all this money we're putting into early childhood and pre-K programs. How do we know if they are successful or not successful? We do not test students the same way third grade take LEAP and all of those other pieces. So they came up with a process to be able to take early childhood programs and give them what's very similar to a school performance score, and they call it performance profile ratings. In 2018, our parish was at a 5.64 on a 7-point scale. We currently are at a 5.83, which shows that we continue to increase. And we are 16th in the state. Pretty much every parish has a early childhood network. So about 16 out of 64, might be 63, 62. You do have some smaller parishes that combine. What's also really sweet is we are the highest in the Acadiana region in early childhood. And you know, the minute school performance comes out, KLFY, KATC puts up Lafayette, Vermilion, Iberian. Unfortunately, St. Martin sometimes is at the lower end, but we are not in early childhood. We are actually higher than the surrounding parishes. You can see as of February 2026, this is the number of students that are in our programs on publicly funded seats. And so it's broken down by groups. Total of 629 students are reaping the benefits of supported funding for early childhood. So big question is, what difference does this make? How does this affect the community more than those families who have children under the age of 5? So when you think about the workforce behind the workforce, when parents have reliable childcare, your businesses stay running because your employees do not have to miss. They know they're sending their child to a dependable childcare that's staying open, that's always there Monday through Friday. Now I can get to work. The other thing is there is a high return on investment. For every dollar that's spent in high quality early learning programs, it saves $13 in future costs related to remedial education, healthcare, and the justice system. So when you invest early in young children, it's getting them ready for kindergarten. We also, majority of our programs have a lot of family engagement involved in that, so that we try to work with the family to support the family as well. Long-term economic development. I don't know if you're aware, but 90% of a child's brain is developed before they're 5. 90%. Which means if they're not in any kind of setting that's high quality, they're starting kindergarten with some skills that they didn't have the opportunity to develop. And so it's really sad. No child should start kindergarten behind, but it does happen. And if you start kindergarten behind, when you get to first grade, the gap increases and increases and increases. So our goal is to ensure as many of our littles are in a high quality program so they're considered kindergarten ready. Another component is community attractiveness and property values. Towns that have really good, robust early childhood systems attract higher income families, new business investments. So stronger early childhood programs support school systems. Strong school systems have families who want to move into those communities. And so I'm here. You have the handout that has a QR code. I also have informational flyer that has a QR code. Anybody that would be interested in being part of our Ready Start network, we only meet 4 times a year. We go over informational things. Sometimes we come up with ideas and activities and events to kind of continue. Please scan the QR code. Somebody would reach out to you if you feel like you are not the right fit, but you know somebody who might be the right fit. Share this information with them so they can scan the QR code and be part of our Ready Start network. Any questions?
Any questions from council?
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Kimya Cruz, Grant Consultant for La Louisiane Consulting and President of Greater St. Martinville Economic Development District, and Pamela Granger, President Owner of McBade Engineers and Consultants LLC, to discuss grant opportunities for St. Martin Parish.
Good evening, and thank you for having us here today. I guess about a few weeks ago, I had a few council members ask me to come here today and just speak a minute about some opportunities that may be possible for the parish and some water systems that may be on the private side and how you could engage those water systems even though you're a government agency. And I'm going to let Pam talk about that a little bit. And if you have any questions about particular grants, we can go over that as well once Pam discusses that with you.
All right, thanks, everyone. So I represent McBade Engineers and Consultants, and we are currently one of the consultants, not only for the city of St. Martinville, we're also helping through that on the water sector program for your combined water district, but we also do the engineering for Cecilia Water Corporation. And one of the recent things that we've talked with Mr. Pete and others about is you currently have an area, My Place mobile home development. And in that area also, there's some areas that the water is not as great from a standpoint of their wells. A couple of times we have kind of reached out to just say, hey, there's some different grants that are available. And I think there's a lot of questions with regards to the Cecilia Water Corporation because while it's not considered truly government, it is nonprofit. And so what I wanted to share with everyone was back in 2013, the same thing happened in an area which was called the Sawmill Highway Target Area. So it was several areas where there were individual homes. There was also another mobile home. I think it was Jacob Mobile Home Park as well. And so what the parish did, and at the time it was President Cormier, they applied for a CDBG grant. And through a cooperative endeavor agreement, the parish went after the funding, and then after it was finished, then the infrastructure was transferred over to Cecilia Water Corporation because it was in their area, and then they now maintain and operate it. So it has been done. If anybody, I can email you guys when that application was done by Mr. Menville. I acquired Dubrock Engineering, which was the engineering firm that did all of that as well. And then also in working with it, we know that to extend this and to take care of this particular water system and in that area, it would be about 1.4 million. So we've been looking for you guys on behalf of just different kind of funding. And probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago, different communities received an email from Congressman Higgins about community funding programs, and it was several different ones in different areas. Their original deadline at the time when we were reaching out was March 27th. Well, they then changed the deadline. Most of the time they push them back. They wanted the deadline, they wanted the stuff early, and that passed. That was last Monday, so applications would have needed to be in. But we wanted to tell you about the fact that there is that opportunity if you do have citizens in your parishes or different areas where you can look into, and it has been successfully done with state and federal funding, doing a cooperative endeavor agreement, which is a little bit, pretty much it's just different language of saying cooperative endeavor instead of intergovernmental. But it works the same if there's the mutual benefit and the benefit for your residents. And it's just that in that Cecilia Water Corporation or anyone, if you end up having one that becomes a same scenario that's within your new waterworks district that you're creating, that could happen. So as it happens along the way, you do have, you've already done it once, and so it could be done again. Most of the time when these grants are coming up, there's not a whole lot of time. So we wanted to make sure to let you guys know, because many times they want a resolution. And so if we only have 30 to 45 days, there's not a whole lot of time in order to get that resolution before you guys to be able to do it. And in the absence of that, a lot of times you need letters from communities. So I think as you go after it, some of the things you could be doing to prepare for it is if you have businesses or people who are calling, start collecting and keeping that data. One of the biggest things is that the grants are becoming so competitive. And one of the biggest things I have when I'm working with a client is I say, okay, I know you have this, but do you have a list? It doesn't matter if you screenshot a text message, if you have one of your emails, if you have an article in the paper, start saving those, because I did 3 applications for 3 different communities. One community had 94 pages of complaints over the last 10 years that were a combination of articles, different council people getting emails, text messages, whatever. That's what makes you stand out over somebody else. I can say, so can Kimya, the water's bad, we give them a test results, whatever. What they want to know is that businesses and people in your community want the project and that they are complaining. So the best thing you can do to start positioning yourself is to just start keeping that, however you guys want to start keeping that. But from a perspective of, we will continue, unless you say otherwise, we will continue to bring those forward to you guys. We can also bring them to Kimya. But they are becoming more and more competitive, and they're wanting a little bit more than just filling out the pages, which is kind of why a lot of times Kimya reaches out to me, because they'll ask you for some engineering things, because again, they're trying to give you a point system. You can submit it without it, but if you don't have the backup data, you don't have some numbers run, you don't have some reasons or some examples, you just won't score enough. And so because more and more people are going after it, we just want to set you up for success, and to let you know when I am sending it, I'm really just trying to help. And if there's other things you guys want me to be on the lookout for, to tell her, I'm be happy to say I'm on that same email chain. I guess because I've done so many, I get caught in some of the email chains that maybe some others might not. And I go through and I look through the criteria, and I'm very particular in that if I don't think you're going to score well, I'm going to tell you, because I don't believe in just kind of throwing something at the wall and seeing if it sticks. A good application is, it's better to go after one good application than 5 if you don't have the backup and wait for it. So I'm not going to I wouldn't want to waste your time, your money, or anybody's money or anybody's time if I don't think that it's applicable to what you're looking for. But I will keep looking for grants for you guys in that particular. And if there's something else that you guys want to know and have questions of maybe some things that we've done before. Unfortunately, I probably have 60 years of historical documents in my office from when I acquired Dubrock Engineering. So I have a lot of data from things that we may have done or previous things people might have asked for that we just weren't able to find them in the grants. So that's why I wanted to come and let you guys know, so you don't think that it's just like, where's this coming from? But if you are in need for that area or something else, feel free to contact Kimya. She can also reach out to me.
Any questions? Jean-Baptiste?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I asked y'all to come because Mr. Vincent, Alexander in his district had some concerns about the water area. Hopefully he was able to connect and watch us. So what we'll probably do is get with him and reach out to you all so we can get a better idea of what he's trying to do. And then from there, we can set up a meeting with parish president to see how we can collaborate to help in those areas. So I greatly appreciate this information because it gives us a little bit more insight for some of the other districts that may need some water and how we can go about seeking some funds.
I think just about every district in here probably has areas in their areas that doesn't have water. So it probably would be something that we need to do. So you brought a lot of good information so we need to keep track of records of complaints and stuff. We need to start building a portfolio to put together. Maybe we gotta have something.
That's what's going to set you apart.
Or from everybody else.
When I
You gotta
did
be able
3
to sell
different
it.
applications for 3, I was begging, but one of them, I'll be honest, it was the mayor of Youngsville. He was like, I got text messages. Everybody, you probably have some, Mr. Pete. All of you probably have some. And I think they're important. So download it, take a screenshot, print it, and just keep it, because when they say, where's your backup, you will have it. And there's not a grant that I've put together that we don't have. And what we'll usually do is we'll do that, and then we're gonna create a spreadsheet with all those, and we'll just show the dates. So if they don't wanna look at all of them, they just see it. So that is probably the biggest thing, is just keeping track of all of that, because I know you guys get it all the time.
Yeah, so I guess on the council side, we could probably start putting stuff together when we get that kind of information. Send it to Brooke, we can create a folder or a file to where we can put that stuff in to have. So I guess when we do come across these grants.
Yes.
Mr. Delcom, you have something you want to bring up?
In that same vein, Ms. Kimya brought a grant to our attention at the end of last year. We had less than 30 days to put it together. So this is not something that you can just pick up, and it has to have some measuring, predetermination. If there's some generic things that we know that are going to be involved in the application process, whatever it may be. To piggyback on Mr. Tozan, correct. We'll start putting some things together to where when y'all come to us, hey, look, you got 30 days, you have 60 days. We'll hit the ground running and just fill in the blanks or do whatever else needs to be done. Of course, with the premise that we cannot use public funds for private entities, but as you just said, there are ways to get around these things, and we need to skin the cat. We need to be able to give these people that have the need of water. 2026, we need to get it to them. So thank y'all very much for coming, and we will start. I'll get with you, Miss. And start putting some things together. Ms. Kimmy, the same things in regards to the grant processes, to where when you do come and whatever the time schedule is, we'll hit the ground running and see if we can put something together.
Now, just of note, many of the grants now, as Pam was saying, are very competitive. So the time, you don't have the long time frame as you once did on many of the grants that are coming out. So as soon as it comes out and we let you know, we have to hit the ball running right away.
Right, yeah. So starting to either gather, like, those folks who would be willing to do letters of support for you, but where all you're gonna end up having to do is like insert different grant name, right? So if there's businesses that are affected, schools, school board, anybody who, and even if they don't say for that particular grant, you could start to just say that we are in support, that we need such and such a project, and that we are in support of the funding for it or whatever, and how it affects their business or whatever. So those are things that people could start sending you, and you could start gathering right now with regards to, businesses, homeowners, different people. That's all going to help, because then it's that much less that we have to gather, that much less you have to pay any consultant to do. You guys can be doing that right now just while you're waiting for different things to come around.
And I will say one other thing that helps a lot of other communities would be to identify maybe one or two employees that we would be able to reach out to that could gather that information. It helps so much, because what happens is you'll end up with one employee having this and another one there and another one getting this, and you have information all over the place. So to identify one person who's a person of contact that we would be able to speak to gather that information also goes a long way in getting that grant done more quickly.
Mr. Louvier?
Mr. Vincent always has two questions, but I'm gonna ask one on his behalf, and it's a technical question. So, the particular area that he's looking to try to get the water at, it's basically like on a division road between St. Martin Parish and Lafayette Parish. Would that create any issues? Just because like the road is right down the middle of the parish line. And how we would address that is,
If some of the water line is placed in a different parish, but it's still within the water corporation, then you'd also get a letter of support, or that there's no objection to doing it. But if it's within the corporation, because sometimes water corporations go across parish lines. So if we're running a line, but it's in the water corporation, it's probably just a matter of getting that document saying we have no objection with regards to it, and we understand, and then the corporation having documentation that's with the map saying that.
small issue.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it, that's all I have.
Ms. Narcisse?
I just had a question, Ms. Pam, on the one you said that closed, that was pushed up to the 17th. Did we submit anything?
We didn't submit anything on this particular water, but
Okay.
they had several different kinds. Now, It was, the deadline that went through was Congressman Higgins was trying to collect the ones for his area, because this is one, it's kind of like, I'm gonna simplify it in saying it's the equivalent of almost like our state capital outlay, right? That becomes, everybody wants to know how much in their area, they trying to figure out which ones they're gonna speak higher for, or whatever. So, but it's on the federal level. And there was probably 8 or 9 different grants that you could go after in different areas, and you had to say which one. The actual deadline of those grants, I think, is close to May, but he, in order for him to support it, he had a certain date. That doesn't mean we can't find another congressman or your state senator that would be willing to put it on behalf of yourself, if they haven't had their deadline. I was only on Congressman Higgins's one, but if that's something you guys want to check to see if because they asked on there, have you submitted this to any other congressman or to any other senator, which most of them, the ones that we put in, we didn't. We're just having one person push it forward. And that was his internal deadline, so he could get all of his staff so that he could say which ones he recommends. That doesn't preclude you from reaching out to someone else in another district or one of your senators.
So if a grant opportunity comes up and y'all looking for grants and you find something that would fit St. Martin Parish, we have to approve it by resolution for y'all to be able to apply for the grant?
A lot of times they do request it. This one, because it was to Congressman Higgins, he didn't require it, but when you went and you looked to see what the federal government was asking for, a lot of times they said, did the person supply a resolution? So I had one community, I did not have time to get a resolution, but there were 5 councilmen, I got 3 letters of approval. So that if they come, but then what we did was a few days later, we actually had a council meeting. I just couldn't get it in time. And they went ahead and they approved it by council resolution for that to allow the mayor to be able to sign anything that would come in or whatever. So we're in a position that we had the resolution for all of them that gives us, because it asked who is applying, so that gives us the permission, or whoever the permission, but then also would give Mr. Pete the app, to sign or whatever. So usually, there's very few that don't ask for one. So in the absence of us being able to get in front of y'all, we would then need a majority saying that they would approve it and then ask them to use that in substitute unless you could get an emergency.
So we only vote on our first Tuesday of the month, but we have this, on the third Tuesday, we have a meeting, but we could call a special meeting if we had to. But I'm just wondering if we could allow the parish president, if a good grant came across, to be able to sign for it, and we ratify your signature after, at a later date for the next meeting, to that opportunity to do where we don't miss these grants, where we can get on board and quick and stuff, and try to move as fast as we can, because I know timing is everything with some of this.
Yes, sir, that would go
Is
along.
that something that could be done?
Yeah, we could pass a blanket resolution that's
That would
good for
allow
the
it,
year
yeah.
to allow him to sign for any grants.
So, and that would give you all the opportunity to look for these grants, and when they come across, we'd have something in place that would allow the parish president to act on it on our behalf without having to come back and pass another resolution. I'm just trying to
That
think
would
of
be
ways
great.
that
That'd
would,
be
would
very,
be
very
wonderful.
helpful,
Yeah.
I think, for him to be able to do that.
okay. I think that's something we can maybe look at doing, Brooke. We can maybe try to pass that resolution at next month's meeting. We'll put it on the agenda to get that done, to where something comes up between now and then. I know we missed out on a few of them, but, those grants, something else might come between now and the next meeting we have, and if something came up, we want to be able to get it done sooner than later. So,
Would you like for us to put out some feelers to see if there are other representatives or senators that are still
Definitely.
accepting community funding program applications?
Definitely.
Okay,
I think the general conception of the council is, man, if you can find money, anything you can apply for that would benefit us. Because, so you said a while ago, I knew about the endeavor cooperative agreements with Cecilia. Is that the only private system that we have in the parish that we can do it with?
No, you
Like
can do it with
Parks, like we can do it with the Village of Parks, and we can do it with the City of Brewer and St. Martinville through intergovernmental agreements. But I think we have a couple of more private sector water systems. Yeah, we got the one in Chris's district.
yeah.
That one's pretty bad. I know they
Yeah, those are all nonprofit. I think the harder part would be is if you had like a Magnolia.
Yeah, and I don't think we have
You know,
anything like
so
that.
that's a for-profit, but I mean,
have
if
one?
you have,
I didn't know.
We sell to Montreal, and they regulate the water in Montreal. So
Okay.
a lot of times the residents think that it's the Cade Water District, but they actually get water through Magnolia.
I know like in my district, I have like on the outskirts of the city, but the parks water system. So if there was grants that we could apply for to help parks to be able to extend their lines to people, because I know they're getting ready to put another well, so they might be able to start expanding on it.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yes, we'll definitely look at that. And I think in the case where if you have Magnolia behind, then it would probably be something you would do with Cade. And then Cade would have to do something that would be an intergovernmental with Magnolia if it's in that state. And then that's how, so your agreement would be with Cade.
Right.
That would be how you could go about doing it, that you do a cooperative endeavor with Cade.
I think right now the biggest concern, they're all important, every one of them is, and we were able to do something for Buda Rose through the Henderson water system, and then we were able to do the water consolidation that's gonna help the Catahoula community, and it's gonna help the city and everything. I think that's a great thing too. But I think right now, the biggest area that the concern that we've had that's come up, I mean, I'm serving on my third term, so I've heard it with 3 different individuals that represented where Mr. Vince is at now, is that the area over there around the salt mine, everything across the tracks, when you cross the tracks in Brew Bridge, everything until you get to the parish line doesn't have city water, it's all. So that would probably be the largest piece that we have, that doesn't have water, and everybody else is, I think it's small areas of our districts.
Yeah, and basically it would connect to what this project was in 2013, 15. Where the last line ends that we connected in 2000 is where the area is. So it's all part of the same
Right. And
water that's not.
We
the
did
best,
have
but
a
it's
meeting
right
with
there.
me, Mr. Vincent, and President Delco met with the Cecilia water system and all, and to do the complete project. That would be the whole big picture. It was close to $10 million because they'd have to put in another well. But it was said that it could have been done in phases to where they could have did small parts and just incorporate it later. So if we could get grants to just start getting it moving, getting things done, I mean, that would help out over there too. So,
When, especially if you face it, one of the things on this particular community grant, when they did the application, the congressman was looking for things that could be done in a year, because again, I kind of equate it to their capital outlay. They want to see it go. And so they want you to do phasing, like what can you do and what can you perform in a year? And so that's small bites, which also helps with any kind of match that you have to have. It becomes small bites. But every bit of it, you can be getting grants for the next section while you're constructing that section. You show them progress, you show that you're completing. Again, that gets you more points, because if there's anything I found is once you start a project, a lot of people like to, okay, well, we'll find the next one, because you've already proven yourself that you took the money, you did it, you went through, you're in good standing, and they want to see it through. So that's something else we see, as opposed, the hard part is you ask for 10 million and they don't. They're like, man, we really want to spread it around to several people. So saying, look, we'll only take $1 million right now, it's overall 10 million, that puts you in a much better place.
right. Ms. Jean-Baptiste, you have something else?
Yeah, I know we're talking about water, but I know we missed the opportunity with the Safe Street. I definitely want us to go back and consider that when it comes around again, because we definitely could use lights about the roundabout and just looking at other areas as well.
Oh, blame me. I did get a call about some lights around the roundabout. Oh, Lord, I'm sorry. I did get a call about some lights. The roundabout, I forgot. I want to say the city have the lights. In some project they did, or grant or whatever, they have the LED lights. They wanted to find out permission to be able to put the lights there. But they have the equipment.
So we just probably need to get with,
Yeah, yo,
Jen
just
as well, because I know that was something she was working on, and then follow up with parish president.
I forgot.
But still, we still could do sidewalks in other areas.
There's
Area and
many
expand
grants
on
out
that.
there. I think what would help would be to maybe do some type of assessment on what the parish needs or would like to be done. I mean, there's even this LCDBG grant that's about to come open again with dilapidated properties, and the parish would easily qualify for $750,000. So, and that would go a long way. So you see, there's a lot of grants that are coming up, but we kind of need to know, what you need, what types of things you're looking for, and what would be a palatable amount that you want to put on match, right? So those are the types of things that we would need to know.
I think at some point in time, maybe we could have like a small meeting we could meet with a few of the council members and the parish president, kind of come up with a list of what we're looking for. Because when we're talking about this lighting, so I've been working on this for a couple of years, trying to get some lighting. I got a couple of areas in my district in the Grand Bois area and on Gizin Road. It's a real dark area. There's not a lot of houses. Houses are for report. And the problem right there is they don't have much street lighting there. So Slimco services that area and said that they would do, so like if we paid for two, or we had funding to do two, they'd pay the third one. So they do a project like that. We also, we just came back from our police jury convention, and we went with some people from CLECO, and they said that they do the light, they did it last year where the money was available, and it's gonna be available this year. And we're gonna put it on the agenda to come and speak to us over here. So they did some lighting and projects inside the parish with us, I think, last year. And there's some additional funding, and they're expanding out to the rural area. So it might be something that we can work with them on to maybe partnership on some of these grant opportunities.
Yep.
But I mean, we really need somebody to help us with grants to be able to identify some of the issues we have been having for the past few years, and just it's getting to be an expansive. We need anything we can get to help would help. So I think maybe at some point in time we might be able to set up a meeting to maybe get a few council members and the parish president, and we could just sit down and kind of go over some of our concerns.
Sounds good. Okay.
We have a bunch.
Well, thank y'all. This was very informative.
Wait, I
Oh, Ms. Narcisse.
yeah, I still have my button on. I just was coming because Chris had skipped, and however, but I was coming back to the water because y'all kept saying over here, and I hear that, but I'm very prone to, if you say it, they remember District 3-2 has a big water need. So definitely, we want to, I'll have the information you need to submit, definitely.
You know, when
Don't
you
wanna
think
forget.
about it, one of the things that, it's one thing if I say the need, it's one thing if you guys say the need,
The people.
but really they want to hear from the citizens who it
Yes.
actually affects. And so that's why Pam was saying, keep those text messages, keep those emails. They want to hear directly from those citizens, and that goes a long way with your grant proposal.
But when we get those phone calls and social medias and all that, and they reach out to us, we'll make sure we
Yes.
start screenshotting. We'll get with our clerk and she'll start putting a file together.
Yes,
Sounds good.
good. Thank y'all.
Thank you, thank you.
Discussion of ordinance summary number 15410R, an ordinance to amend Article 9 of Chapter 20 of the Code of Ordinances of the St. Martin Parish Government by the repeal, revision, enactment, and/or reenactment of Section 20275F, all relative to the meetings for the Tourism Commission.
Any questions from the council? Concerns? No? Everybody's good?
Basically, it was just a revision of the timing of meetings. So it wasn't anything substantive or anything. It was just, they're just wanting to change some meeting times that have to be put into the ordinance.
Thank you.
Consider the adoption of a resolution ratifying the signature of Parish President Pete Delcom on an intergovernmental agreement with the City of St. Martinville for the tree clearing and silt removal within the Oliver Lane and Stephanie Drive outfall to improve drainage in the adjacent parish areas as well as the city's Durant subdivision.
Mr. Delcom?
Back in the police jury days, St. Martin Parish took over the maintenance of Stephanie Drive. So the documentation was brought to my attention, et cetera. So the city of St. Martinville is in the process. They had a grant that they have monies available to do a lot of tree clearing, some large oak tree and pecan tree clearing, substantive amount of monies, and they would be able to use this. However, the grant needed to intervene, have the parish intervene with this resolution to just showing that we're of knowledge of it. We don't have a problem with it, being that we do maintain it, but it is within the city of St. Martin. So that being said, last night, the city of St. Martin went through a resolution accepting the grant with the contingency of us doing this resolution. I talked to the president, to Mr. Tozam, about possibly expediting this thing to where they can get their things done. I can possibly ratify the signature on this, of which I did today. So this is just the cart before the horse, but the city will be able to continue with the grant process with no timing being let down on that. So
Parish President Pete Delcom to discuss an intergovernmental agreement with St. Mary Parish Levy Board relative to the Bayou Shan control structure.
Mr. Delcom?
We had conversation with some of the council members. This is a project that has been completed. It was a large CPRA project. Of course, they came in and said, we will fund the actual construction. However, the area parishes that are involved or that touch this and are affected by this would need to continue with the maintenance and possible at a longer period of time, 10 years or so forth, some of the more substantive upgrades to the control structure. So we're in the process of taking a look at the numbers, seeing if it's feasible for Stevensville and the effects on Stevensville. And we'll have some further conversation about this with the entire council and coming up with some direction and decisions from there.
Thank you.
Consider the adoption of a resolution authorizing the parish president to execute contract amendment number 1 with Sellers and Associates for administrative services for the St. Martin Parish Government's FEMA Public Assistance Grant Program.
Mr. Delcom?
Yeah, Sellers and Associates, they are the project managers, quote unquote, that look over and take care of these FEMA projects. So this is just a continuation of their services with the FEMA programs moving forward.
I asked thank you, Ms. Delcom. I asked Ms. Thibodeau to send this out to everyone. Kind of gives us a list, a breakdown of what Sellers actually does for everything. So it's for during hurricanes, as President Delcom says. But I just wanted to clarify this because I think some people had a misunderstanding. So they work for the mosquito abatement program, but that program is they don't initiate the contract. That's done between parish government and our. This is they only administer this for FEMA reimbursements for mosquito spray programs, right?
This is, yes, emergency
Only for
emergency situations, emergency projects that occur due to these emergency situations. Yes, sir.
Right. So like during like hurricanes, we'll get assistance from FEMA to do like more spraying than we normally would do, and they go out there and they get our reimbursements for that.
Yeah, this is over and above what we normally have contracted with the contractors, and of course, anything with government, with federal government and so forth, you got to have your T's crossed and your I's dotted. And, so Sellers and Associates comes in and oversees these projects, these emergency projects, which are very advantageous to the parish because they are very costly. We do have contracted services on retainage, so to speak, to where we're in the driver's seat. When these things occur, it's just a matter of a phone call and the initiation of these projects to help the parishes in these times of need.
So, and I reached out to Sellers, and Nick he had a meeting to go to tonight, just to kind of give us a brief description of this. At a later point in time, if we feel if we have any questions about this or exactly what they do and what's been done in the past, they can come and give us this. But, so Nick put this together. I asked him just put something together. That's what we have here in front of us. And it kind of gives a complete breakdown of all the stuff they do for us through the FEMA reimbursements and everything else that goes on. So if you have any questions or something, he said, at any time, if we wanted, we could reach out to him or he could come here at a later date. I just want everybody to understand exactly what they do and they administer for this thing, because it's in great detail, and a lot of this is very important for reimbursements.
Discussion on the rezoning petition for 1059 Grain Elevator Road, Orneville, Louisiana, from R2 Mixed Residential to C1 Light Commercial.
Ms. Alamo?
Good afternoon. The rezoning petition for 1059 Grain Elevator Road was brought in front of the Planning Commission on March 5th, 2026. So it was from R2 Mixed Residential to C1 Light Commercial for the operation of an art studio. As you all are aware, the the Planning Commission denied the rezoning petition. So I put together a packet for you as normal. You should have received two. It's the original Planning Commission packet that went to the Planning Commission. And then you also received another packet, which is what the petitioner, Mr. Knapp, supplied the Planning Commission with. And also what a neighbor supplied the Planning Commission with. So that was all received at the March 5th Planning Commission meeting. Mr. Knapp is here to speak with you all if you have any questions for him. I also just want to mention, since the rezoning signs and the test news ads and all those things were posted and ran, I've only received two calls. One call was from the neighbor that attended the meeting. She lives, her and her husband live right next door to the property. She's against the rezoning petition. Obviously, she lives right next door. She has concerns of noise, various business types she thinks that's going on. The other phone call that I received, that property owner lives all the way at the end of the road. He just wanted to know what the signs were for. He was neither for nor against the rezoning petition. So I don't know if you have any other questions for me, but the petitioner, Mr. James Knapp, is here this afternoon for you all. And I do believe he has some information for you as far as new packets.
Mr. Knapp, would you want to come to the podium?
Good afternoon, guys. James Knapp, my very good friend Danny Rich, who'd be helping me with this project. We do have some updated information, and I'll explain why first. And so meeting with the previous board, super helpful. It was a great exercise for us because we got to hear their concerns. And their main concern was the model is too broad. And so they didn't exactly kind of dial in on that, but after discussing it at length with a council member after the meeting, we got a much better sense of it. And so this kind of digs into how we've edited the model according to their suggestions, essentially.
I want to address also that we don't have yet a new floor plan. The one that's in the packet previously that you received is currently being edited by our architect Alicia, who's going to make some changes to it now that we know what is not permitted.
In a short description, can you tell us exactly what it is that you're trying to establish or build there?
Sure. So the model is an art studio space. So it's going to house 10 different studios for local artists to be able to come and rent and do art. What this model is, it's not very different than New News Art Gallery, except the inception of this was we found out that New News has run out of space for artists. Based in art galleries in Lafayette, also running low in artist space. We became aware of it because we have a lot of friends in New News and we're friends with George Marks, the director. And so that's how this inception came about. I've had this warehouse for 3 years. It's been sitting there collecting dust. We're very community oriented. We thought, well, this could be a great way to first and foremost add to the alt culture here in Acadiana, but also make use of the space. So that's the concept, which we have consequently refined. We're not attached to something that's going to be dysfunctional. Well, our neighbors, they're good people. They're a bit older, and they had a traumatizing event in Brobridge years ago where they lived in their house, they were happy, a business moved in, a bar moved in, and a bunch of shenanigans took place. There was some gunfire at some point. So they were traumatized by that event, and so they're obviously very scared that it's going to happen again. I don't blame them for feeling that way. But again, this model is an art studio. It would piggyback off what New News is doing, essentially. And so previous board felt it was too broad. We refined it. And so at this point, it is just studios. Prior, we had a few ideas regarding an event space in there and having some acoustic music and having some yoga. We've extracted all of that out. We're not trying to create any unkind feelings with our neighbors or with anyone. We want to keep it very simple. We want to keep it efficient and functional. And so we've made all these upgrades according to the previous council. And so at this point, we're trying to add some value to the culture here, guys. Like, this isn't going to be a massive revenue generator for us. It's going to be structured as a nonprofit, just like New News. And we're just trying to offer something in that capacity. And so that's the focus.
So would you have gala events there where people would come in,
No, we're going to leave that for New News. These are just
a place for the artists to go and work?
bingo. Correct.
Yeah, and we're gonna have artists sign a lease maybe for 6 months or a year, so that will be their space. Most of them are 10 by 10, some of them will be a little bit bigger. So it'll be like each artist gets a space. There's enough room there's 9 solo spaces, and there's gonna be one room that we're going to make into a dark room for a few photographers to use. So it's really, there's not going to be a lot of traffic. It's just going to be those people coming to work.
So no wine and crackers and all this other good stuff?
No.
We're leaving that to New News.
All right.
So, and just from reading the minutes, just a suggestion to y'all, it appeared that the Planning and Zoning Commission just had a lot of questions that maybe they weren't prepared to answer. And the Planning and Zoning, they kind of struggled with how to limit the activity. So based on the new information and their new model, maybe it would be appropriate in April. It's actually a rejection, so it's not the ordinance process. Y'all could always vote to send it back and maybe let Planning and Zoning re-review it based on the new information, just to give them the fairest shake. If y'all were to reject it, they're prohibited for a year from acting again. So maybe let Planning and Zoning take another look at it, see if this answers their questions, and maybe they could craft restrictions if they find it necessary. Then ultimately, y'all would have the final say-so if necessary. But that would be in April. Maybe, if that's appropriate, someone can make a motion to remand it back.
Mr. Corville?
So basically, we'd wait till the next voting meeting in April, defer it back to planning and zoning and let them go back through the process.
Correct.
Their
Just-
clarifications.
Y'all could give them specific instructions to review the new information and see if their opinion changes or their recommendation changes.
That we're very open to that. We had several of the council people afterwards come up and say, "Hey, we wish you the best with your vision," and we're very optimistic for us on our behalf. So we're very open to the process. And again, we're trying to show you guys that we're very flexible here, very mutable. We want this to work, and so.
And if we do that, that would give you an opportunity to get this thing up to this, if you get approval from planning and zoning and it comes to us, and we don't have the final say, so if we decide to approve it, then you could get up and running this year versus if we vote it down in the meeting according to what the recommendations from planning and zoning were, you'd have to sit out for a year. So this would help to speed the process up, to give you a chance to go over there and replead your case and kind of just get this thing up and running to where you could, they might change their mind and approve it. Because, I mean, it seems like you're very flexible in what you're asking for. It doesn't seem like it's an impossible task. So I think it could work that way.
We would appreciate that opportunity.
Mr. Louvier?
Just have one question, and it's probably in the packet, but it's out of pocket. How close is it to the structure with the complaint?
Roughly, 100, 120 feet in that zone.
Okay, that's all I have.
Any other questions from council? Thank you.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Chairman Chris Tozet to discuss allocating funds for staffing for Acadiana Watershed District, Region 5.
The Acadiana Water District Shade hasn't received a large amount of funding to be able to operate. And we're one of the few parishes, well, I think we Region 5, so we're like 13 parishes that make it up. So what they're doing is they're asking for funding for the staffing of it. Our portion of that would be about $13,000 for the year. It's been beneficial before because we have a project that we did receive funding on. And we are currently working on another project that involves St. Maureen Parish with the Bar Pit Canal. I'm sure most of y'all we've talked about it before, where they're gonna put a set of gates in it to where we bring fresh water in with the Tesh Vermilion. It's a project that they're looking at and that it would be one of theirs. So it's just to consider, this is what they're asking for, that if each parish, according to the population, I mean, like Lafayette I think they would put in, their share would be closer to $100,000. It would be according to your population, your parishes, and ours would be somewhere around the 13,000. So it's something for us to consider, and if we want to be part of it, to try to keep this thing alive. If not, if we don't do the funding, then the program could go away by the end of the year. I can tell you, working with the previous councils and Mr. Cedars and with Parish President Delcom right now, we've started to look at drainage, especially since 2016. It's more of a regional aspect. It's not what this parish is doing or what this parish is doing. It's what we do as partnerships with different parishes, our neighboring parishes, to try to get projects done. The Canada Watershed is all about consolidating projects that'll do multi-parishes, and it's a great benefit for us. I would strongly consider, ask you to strongly consider to think about maybe funding this to where we can keep this project alive and keep it going. They are looking at different funding areas for major projects and all. Like I said, we received some through Acadiana Watershed once, and I think it's a small portion for what they do. I mean, they do all the engineering and everything for us, so it's something to think about. I can get more information for you if y'all need more information. Let me know. I can share more with you. I can send you some emails and stuff that we've received and some of the numbers to look at from what the different parishes would pay for. That's it. Thank you. Mr. Corville, you have a question?
Well, you kind of answered it, but we get in these discussions all the time about cooperative endeavors and ponying up, and we always go back to, do we have a seat at the table? Do we have some influence? And you sit on the board, so I guess do you feel like we'll get the bang for our buck on this deal, joining with them, and it'll benefit us all? I mean, we kind of count on you to.
Yeah. So this was done by legislation. It was formed. It's different watersheds throughout the state. We actually sit in Region 5, and we do have a vote on the table. We received funding before, and I think we have a good chance to get additional funding. We just need to make sure that we can get the federal funding to come down to state funding, which looks like we're going to get through some different programs. So, I mean, it's not a big expense for what we receive. So, Mr. Delco?
Yes, in regards to that, we're actually at the table with LCG on the Smeta Park Highway 90 flooding problem and the Acadiana Watershed, Mr. Pennison, Nick with Sellers and Associates. So just to bring one project that's on the table as we speak with the involvement of the watershed and Acadiana Watershed, and it is monies well spent. And this project in and of itself would be a very, very big feather if we can put this thing and get some grant money and get the Baton Rouge involved and so forth. But in saying that, the Acadiana Watershed is right in the middle of all of this, and their participation with engineering, and I'm very much in favor of continuing to help in whatever manner, way, shape, and form.
Thank you.
Consider the adoption of a resolution authorizing Parish President Pete Delcom to execute change order number 1 in the amount of $15,000 increase for the Cypress Island Joe Daig Drainage System Maintenance Project Phase 2 by Down South Construction Services, LLC.
Mr. Delcom?
There's been a little hiccup in this project with a property owner, and the scope of the project was needed to be changed a bit. This is the need for the $15,000. The actual bid came in way under budget, so there is money budgeted in the project itself. I do not feel that due to the scope change, it is all because of the property owner. And I would think that at the end of the project, if all things hold the same, the property owner will probably be held accountable for this. But as we speak right now, the project has to continue. We cannot stop the project or demobilize in any way, shape, or form. So I would very strongly suggest that we increase this change order and move on with the project. It's going as scoped. Other than this, the timing and so forth has been very favorable. The weather has been favorable, and I'm very much in acceptance of getting this change order approved.
Mr. Louvier?
So this project, I think everybody's pretty much familiar with it, but it's very, very important for a lot of our districts to get this thing cleaned to where that water could flow all the way down to get eventually through the Bayou Teche. So this is a pretty small thing, change order wise. It's pretty low compared to what some of them are. So I'm in favor of it.
And it is the second phase, so we need the first phase. We need to get this phase done.
Just to give you a little geography on it, it is at the old sheriff's facility on Highway 96, where you cross the bridge, and it goes north all the way to Leeds-Champagne Road, which is a extension of Caprita Road. So that's the area that's being affected. We actually had to change the scope initially. It was supposed to start at 96 and go to Leeds-Champagne due to the complications involved with the property owner. We had to switch it around. We started at Leeds-Champagne. We're all the way back to the property on Highway 96. With the inability to gain entrance on Highway 96, that is the reasoning behind the scope. Everything has to be accessed from Leeds-Champagne, and that's the reason for the additional expense. But the contractor said they would have no problem in completing the project as timed and with completion of acceptance.
Thank you.
Consider the adoption of a resolution authorizing Parish President Pete Delcom to execute change order number 3 in the amount of $677.44 increase for the Henderson Water Level Control Structure Repairs Project by Reliant Industrial Solutions, LLC.
Mr. Delcom?
Okay, this was just a small change order on the one of the last things that was being done on the control structure. As you can see in numbers 12 and 13, we will be submitting for substantial completion. And in 13, actually, we have about $15,000 left in the monies available. I told the contractor, being that everything was done on the structure itself, we can take the additional money and we can ourselves go into the crow's nest and take care of any windows, doors, anything that would need to be done to the structure itself. But for all intents and purposes, the control structure is complete. At the next meeting, I have pictures and flow charts to show the beginning, the middle, and the end. I'm very pleased and impressed with what went down and our ability to use that money. And it was a very needed project. The entire hydraulic system, the HPU system, has been changed. All of the undertakings of the structure itself, re-welded, refabricated, regusseted. The very timber that takes in and out of the leaves that open and close the gates have been changed. There was an actual 3-foot rise or wainscot wall done around the 2 pies or the opened areas to where all of the waters coming over the structure the debris will not fall into the structure. So we should have minimal problem with the HPUs moving forward. Very pleased with the project, and it's complete. And again, we're just getting to the end of getting the paperwork complete.
Mr. Delcom, I heard you say something about doors and windows. I know that one of the concerns was to be able to secure the facility once it would be complete. Has the doors and windows been changed, or is that something that we're gonna have to go back and do?
No, the doors and the windows have not been, actually the doors are still functional. Can be locked down, not a problem, no entrance. The windows, we're going to, again, we could have let the contractor do it, but these are all things that I feel that we can do internally, save us some money and so forth, clean it down, and no, that has not been done, but with these monies, we can take our time, take it phase by phase, and get the rest of the crow's nest taken care of.
Any questions? Thank you.
Consider the adoption of a resolution authorizing and directing the parish president to execute for and on behalf of the St. Martin Parish government a certificate of substantial completion pertaining to the Henderson Water Level Control Structure Repairs Project, St. Martin Parish, Louisiana.
Pretty much what you were just talking about.
Yes, sir.
Consider the adoption of a resolution authorizing Parish President Pete Delcom to execute the administrative change order in the amount of $15,500 decrease for the Henderson Water Level Control Structure Repairs Project by Reliant Industrial Solutions, LLC.
Also, what we
Yes,
just
sir.
talked about.
Consider the adoption of a resolution granting the authority to the president to sign and submit all necessary documents along with adopting certain procedures in connection with the Office of Community Development, Disaster Recovery and Mitigation Resiliency Program for the CDBG DR Cypress Bayou Coulee LaSalle Drainage Improvements Project, grant number B 18 DP 220001.
This is a project, ongoing project. We're coming to the end of the CDBG and all other governmental intervention, getting everything taken care of. Again, a lot of governmental paperwork, but we're at the end of it. And I think with these being done, we'll be able to actually start going out and put time schedules on advertisement and bids and so forth. So I'm very pleased with the progression of this, where we are with the project now.
Thank you.
Consider the adoption of a resolution proclaiming the month of May 2026 as official Air Quality Awareness Month in St. Martin Parish.
This is something we do annually.
Consider appointments, reappointments to various committees. Parish President's Report.
Delcom.
Okay, as you see before you, you have the listing of projects currently underway. We have the Cypress Bayou Coulee LaSalle, still waiting on Corps of Engineer reports. Alcide Bonin, again, Corps of Engineer, still waiting on their permitting and reports. Petroleum Parkway, as Ms. Carla alluded to at the last meeting, it is underway. We are in the process of, they've gotten a large portion, probably about 30% of the concrete laid. They're in the process of continuing the drainage, which is phase one before the road project comes into play. But they are progressing. They're on a favorable timeline to get this thing done within the contracted time. Spanish Lake Industrial Park project is complete and waiting for substantial completion from the engineer. So again, very pleased with the progression. We're at the end of that major project. This will give us access into our Smeta Park from Highway 182, and looking forward to good things with that. Joday Canal improvements. This is what we just alluded to in that change order. The construction started in February. They're moving along as such. Sales tax number 1, road improvements. We've completed Stevensville. We did the patching. They are supposed to start the milling and the overlay of Ches Broussard and the Burden Olivier overlay. The contractor was pulled off. They went and completed some state projects. This is why it looks like this kind of slowed down and so forth. They should be completing the state projects within the next week to 2 weeks, and they will be concentrating on St. Martin Parish. So we will see a very quick progression from north to south of DDG coming in and taking care of all the roads that we now have on our listings. Once they get onto our road projects, I will be giving to you monthly reports of the roads that they are on, the roads that they anticipate doing, and the progress of everything going on. Henderson Control Structure, we just spoke about that. LA 96 Detour Road, they should start on the actual changing of that culvert on Highway 96, a little bit past the Catahoula Church within the next 2 weeks. The detour road is pretty much complete. The construction, we just need to put a few barricades in there. The homeowner, Miss Sis Bonan, is very pleased with the progression. She's been very helpful, giving a lot to the community and availing herself to allow, although there was a servitude, there was an area of her personal property that she did lend to this detour road. So I'm very pleased with Miss Sis and her participation in this. So with that being said, I know the people not quite understanding the construction process. The underlay and the subsurface has been completed. The next process is the changing of the culverts. We have 3 large culverts that will be changed out. The one on Highway 96, where we're talking about here past the church. There's one about a quarter of a mile up the road in Catahoula, and there will be another one. I know if people ask you, there are a couple of signs out there saying that the road, Highway 96, will be closed. However, this is a misconception. It will be, half of the road will be closed. They will be changing out the culvert, and then the other half will be closed, and then they would complete the change out of the culvert. So the complete Highway 96 will not be closed for any period of time. It'll be another inconvenience. Once this has taken place, they will then be on schedule to start the actual milling and the overlay of the project, which is the last process of the project. Boxcar Road, we have gotten with the contractor. Materials are ordered. They should be getting material within the next couple of weeks. Once that's in and staged, they said that they can get onto this project ASAP, knowing that the severity and of waiting could be immense. So they're going to get on this ASAP, and I'm looking forward to a very quick completion of this. Bayou Benoit Landing, we had a project prior to me getting here, and it was not quite thought out, I think, with the material that was used. So we did go back with the engineer, and the large riprap that was used was taken out and put in other areas of that property. And we put in an underlay of limestone, some 610 and some 75, to where the fishermen and the sports fishermen were complaining about the parking areas. So this project here, I think, took care of any of the inconsistencies that were there before. Our annex here on the St. Martin Parish Government Building, we're in the process of advertisement. Within the next couple of 2 to 3 weeks, the advertisement should be complete. We'll be able to go out to the bid project on this annex project. Library, we did open bids. We had a very pleased with the volume of individuals that bid the project. We got a very favorable bid. It is still under review by the architect, so I'm not going to give an in-depth analysis of what came out, but the actual low bid was a little bit under $1 million, $998,000, which was very, very pleasing, saving a lot of money. Like I said, the number of individuals bid, that was pleasing to begin with. Got a very favorable bid, and I would think at the next meeting, we'll have the bid letter in, and I would be able to give a little bit more information as to the progression of the library. Any other questions?
Questions from the council?
Council discussion or comment?
We're gonna do this, comment or questions, district by district. I'll call on you, District 1. Mr. Louvier?
I just want to commend Ms. Sis in this project on Highway 96. We basically took over her driveway, and that was very nice of her to get this thing done right so we could get the water flowing to stop the flooding from further up the canal. So, hats off to her. Awesome, thing that she done for us. So, that's it.
Thank you. District 2? District 3?
I'm just happy to hear we finally getting the ball rolling on the library. So I'm excited.
District 4? I'll go skip over and go to District 6. He's not here. District 7?
Not here.
He's not here. District 8? District 9?
I'm fantastic.
Okay, and I'll come back to me on District 5.
Are you not good?
No, I'm not. I just got a question. So I had a constituent reach out to me with the last major rain event we had about some flooding we had. So apparently and I spoke to Mr. Poirier this weekend, and he seems to have the same issues in his district. It seems that we dug a canal, or we dug a coulee. It's not a canal. It's a small it's a drainage ditch coulee slash, and we dug part of it, and then we skipped about 100 to 200 feet in the one that I have, and then we dug the other side. So when I questioned about it, I was hoping Mr. Jason would have been here to kind of answer some of these questions. He said it's because we started because of wetlands, that we're not able to dig those areas because they're wetlands. Is that something that well, I mean, I've never heard that before. We never had those issues before.
Well, I think what was told to me that before the mapping and geographic detail that is now available to St. Martin Parish government gives a very detailed analysis of the wetlands in St. Martin Parish. And to touch any wetlands area would need a Corps of Engineers permit. You can see the projects that we're doing right now, it's just never ending. It takes a very long time. I would think that those areas of concern can be brought to the Corps of Engineers in the form of an application for us to go in. I'll give you an example. We had 2 acres of wetlands that we will be putting our new well on in this water consolidation project. 2 acres, to mitigate the 2 acres was $15,000 a piece. So for 2 acres of wetlands that we will be processing, we had to pay $30,000 for areas other than this area, somewhere else to where areas could be mitigated and set aside as the process. So it's twofold. One, we would need to go back to the Corps of Engineers and submit an application to see if we indeed can go into these areas. And 2, there would be a price tag as to a mitigation process to be able to assess the volume of square footage that's being taken out that would need to be mitigated. So, yes, I know we did probably a lot of things in the past that we had no knowledge of, but now that we do have knowledge of it, I would be remiss if we would just go into these projects and go into these wetland areas to do any kind of work without Corps of Engineer permitting.
So, but I'm just wondering, because this, to me, would look like it's general maintenance. Because it's canals that we have, or coulees, or ditches, or whatever we have, we have right-of-ways on, and we've dug previously, we've been maintaining for forever. So did we ever speak to the Corps of Engineers to see exactly, because I don't see how we disturbing, you have to disturb the wetlands, and for something to be classified as wetlands, I'm sure there's a formula, something that they follow to consider it to be wetlands. But to me, if you're just maintaining a general maintenance of a channel, that, like in a small coulee, like what we're talking about, this isn't a very big ditch where I'm at, but it flows a lot of water, and it could flood some homes right there if we don't maintain it. And then what we did when we dug it, we created a dam in the middle of in the middle of that area now. So now we have we actually worse off than we were before we dug it. So I'm just wondering if that could be considered general maintenance to where we don't have to do an application and we're not disturbing the wetlands. If there's trees there, my understanding, if it's wetlands and it's scrub trees, which meaning if it's not a recognized tree, that those scrub trees can be removed. I know we had areas that in the past in my district where we dug, where we didn't disturb the wetlands, what we did, we just snapped the trees and left the root systems in to where we could reach over just to clean out the drainage canals. Is that something that could be looked at?
We can look at it and take it under advisement. Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Jean-Baptiste?
Well, I was just thinking about what you're saying, because I remember in my district right here on 96, I remember one of the guys, when we were looking at the canal, they had went and disturbed that and removed trees, and then they came back in and made them replant trees up in that area because that was considered a wetland. Because I remember working and talking with Mr. Cedars back then to see what we can do to clear that out in order to help the drainage for that, and we couldn't do and disturb any of that. So I'm not sure. I know a lot of that has started changing. That's just a little bit of FYI. We
I know-
couldn't clear that out.
Behind the Burbridge High School area, we had an issue with, it's kind of in the same area where this was. So what we did, instead of disturbing the trees, we didn't pull them. We just snapped them, broke them at the ground, left the root ball system, didn't disturb the wetlands, whatever. We were able to just drain, we were able to just scrape the canal to allow the water to be able to drain. So I'm just wondering if we could reach out to the Corps of Engineers and see if that's something that we would be allowed to be done. So where we don't have to back up on some of these projects.
Yes, sir. We can certainly look into it. Yeah.
Completed constituents' work order per request forms for February 2026 were emailed to you. Reports, statements of revenues and expenditures, and balance sheet for February 2026 were also emailed to you. Council to enter executive session to discuss the following litigation: St. Martin Parish Government versus Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government, bearing number 91813F of the docket of the 16th Judicial District Court in and for St. Martin Parish, Louisiana.
I need a motion in a second to any executive session, but before I call for motion in a second, Mr. Cedars is here tonight, and I asked him to come as a special advisor to the council because of the knowledge he has on this case, and he's been dealing with it for a while, and just to kind of give us some pointers of, where we need to go with this. So Mr. Cedars is here tonight, so I'm asking him to come in executive session. And I'm also gonna ask our clerk to come in the executive session with us for anything that we might be doing that she might need to have information on, like we don't have to relay she can get it firsthand and we don't have to relay it twice. I need a motion in a second. I have a motion by Mr. Portier, second by Ms. Jean-Baptiste. Call for the vote. Can't get a sign. Can't get a sign. No. Dude, don't put that in his yard. Really, I couldn't tell him no. You wanna go steal it? Yeah. You good? Okay, I need a motion and a second to exit executive section. I have a motion by Mr. Clay, second by Mr. Portier. Call for the vote. Mr. Dario?
Yes, the council and Parish President Delcom, met with Mr. Michael O'Shea. He is the attorney on the litigation between St. Martin Parish Government and Lafayette Consolidated Government, where it was discussed, the current status of the litigation, and how to move it forward, and more information will be forthcoming.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.